There's a family in our driveway.
It's probably the neighbors. But y'all scared of a family? Hi, can I help you?
Zora, put your shoes on.
If you want to get crazy, we can get crazy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Eternal Midnight. And James just got out of Us, and I saw it last weekend. James, give us your immediate thoughts.
My immediate thoughts. Okay, so just for context, all I saw of this movie before I went in was the poster. So it's her, like lifting her face off, and she's got like a tear coming out underneath the smiley mask. So to me, I was expecting, because I thought the poster was metaphorical. So I thought, oh right, so she's lifting her mask off. She's showing her true face to society. She's gonna go psycho and kill her family. That's what I was expecting. And then it turned out she had doppelgangers that went on a rampage, and the whole world was kind of fucked. And it was it was not. It was like when I watched From Dusk Till Dawn, and I didn't know about the vampire twist. It was the same thing, and that's why I went in blind, because I knew it's Jordan Peele. He's a modern day classic director. He's gonna go down in the history books alongside the guys like Hitchcock and Spielberg. He's gonna be another one of those directors that he will go down in history as in the history of film, because he is fucking great. And Us was just another in a long line, I hope, of masterpieces by him. And I really did enjoy it. It was so good.
Agreed. I was the opposite. I didn't I didn't know any of the spoilers going into it, at some point, heads up guys, we're gonna touch briefly on a few spoilers, maybe not everything, but going in, I'd watched the trailer. I watched one quick review online of it just because I wanted a YouTuber that I can kind of relate to. I just wanted their thoughts on it, someone I normally agree with. And they were like, it's really good. And yeah, same. I went and saw it. What is it today? It's Friday. I went and saw it last Saturday, day after release. Same. I loved it. I think
I
this movie
adored it.
Great. I don't even know where to start. It was just like the story itself was so cool. It's like I keep saying it genuinely feels like an extended episode of The Twilight Zone.
See, I've never watched that, so I can't relate. But I will say the twist, it wasn't a twist where you went, I didn't see that coming. What? It was a twist where you sort of went, oh shit, all that stuff from earlier, it all clicks together now. It's like it's like putting a jigsaw together. It's like you've been given these pieces early in the movie, and then later in the movie, Peele's come along and he's just sort of moved all these pieces into place for you, and you just sort of look back and it's like, holy shit. And it's one of those movies now where I have to go rewatch it, because when you're first seeing it, you see it from the perspective of the father and the family. You see it like, what's going on? I don't know anything that's happening, and you see it from their view. You don't understand. It's all new, it's all fresh. But then when you go back and rewatch it, I feel like you'll see it from her view, and I think that adds a whole new layer of depth to the movie. And it's so great to be able to build a movie in such a way where you can watch it again and it'll be something totally different and another experience.
Absolutely. And touching on what you just said, the twist itself wasn't this big like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. I know plenty of people who saw it coming, and whether you saw it coming or not, and that's one of my things. Whenever after somebody sees a movie and they go, I saw the twist coming a mile away, I'm like, well, you already saw the movie, so more than likely you're full of shit, because you would have told me when we were seeing it in theaters. But whether you saw it coming or not, it almost doesn't matter, because it's like me, I kind of had an idea about it, but I wasn't 100% sure a few times. And then when it was finally exposed what it was, I was like, okay, I need to rewatch this movie now, because there was so many things that happened before I started suspecting the twist. And now I'm like, okay, now that I know what the twist is, I'm like, now I need to go back, because there were so many things. Yeah, there were so many things that were said that now I'm like, okay, I will see somebody saying that from a different perspective, and it will mean something different. That's
what I love.
Yes, it was like the exact opposite, like you just said. It was the exact opposite of a twist like you see at the end of the first Saw movie.
Yeah.
it's like it's still just as good, but it's different, which is what I like.
You can tell the director didn't just slap a twist on the end for twist's sake. You can tell that it was something he'd thought out. It's something that he'd planned. It wasn't just something where later in the movie he decided, I want to shock audiences. It was something that had been there from the beginning, and I think going back now, you'll see that, and it will be like there's trickles of it throughout the movie where you'll go, oh shit, like early on when she can't speak, you think, oh, that's PTSD, but in actuality it's more along the lines of well, she couldn't speak because she couldn't speak. That's how they were down there, and she's lost her voice because she's been choked. And it's like little things like this where you initially it makes sense from the narrative you're being told, but now going back, you're going to sort of realize, holy shit, like everything clicks, and it's all totally different to what it was the first time you saw it. And I think that adds so much rewatch value. And I think that's a great thing about a movie is if you can go back and watch it again and have a different experience.
Definitely, because that's half the time what almost saves movies nowadays is it needs rewatch value, and if it doesn't
this
have
gets
that,
added to Netflix, like it needs it in a binge watching culture. When everything's on demand, you need that, and I think Peele's done it, and I mean it's such a great thing. I just hope the twist doesn't become a motif of his, like with Shyamalan. I hope he doesn't just become another twist guy.
Definitely, because it's half the time when you strike with a twist, it's like you don't want to get typecast as the guy who does the twist, like you just said, Shyamalan.
Every single time you go into a Peele movie, you'll be like, what's the twist gonna be? And you'll be looking for it. Whereas with us, it was like, okay, I'm expecting a really well-made horror movie. Oh, there's a twist in it. And I didn't see it coming, personally. I thought the twist was going to be that she'd swap places with her. Because when she got stabbed, I was like, oh, she's going to kill her and take her place. That's what's going to happen.
That's what I thought, too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's where my mind went. But then when she actually defeated her, I was like, oh, fuck. Where's this going? And then in the ambulance, it was such a good moment where I felt like the director had pulled the wool over my eyes. And I think that just shows how clever Peele is, because I know him from his comedy sketches, Key and Peele, and I love those. They were hilarious, and Peele's such a funny guy, and his humor does ooze into his movies in such a clever, organic way. I mean, the comedy in this movie, like, I thought, oh, the dad's dabbed, that should be a cringe moment, but then you just sort of realize, oh, this guy's such a dad. That's the comedy behind his character. He's bought a shitty boat, he's competing with the other dad, he's cracking shitty jokes in times of peril, but that's like, it's not comic relief, it's not two-dimensional, because you can see the fear in his eyes, you can see the excitement when it comes, you can see all of this. He's not just like a 2D character. And I mean, I think a huge thing with this movie is that characters like that, where people otherwise might have been, oh, he's a shit actor, look how dumb he's playing, but then they're also playing the villains, and you can just see their range side by side, and it's like,
speaking of that, the doppelgangers, playing the heroes and the villains, that is something I mean, horror, thriller, whatever you want to call this.
Yeah,
it always seems like if it's called horror, it gets shit on around awards times. Lupita, I always forget how to pronounce her last name. How is it?
Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o. She had better be nominated for Best Actress.
Oh yeah,
for this.
Holy shit!
Oh my God, playing herself and the doppelganger was just. Oh my God, she killed it.
She played both a caring, overly protective mother and a psychopathic. Well, not psychopathic, because I mean it's sympathetic villain. It was so...
a broken person on a death revenge quest, basically.
Yeah, like I keep forgetting about the twist and just jumping, oh, it's a psychopathic murderer, and then I'm like, oh no, wait, shit, she has a reason to be like that, and I sort of get it. But then I mean, there's so much of this world I want to know more about, and so much mystery. But then I also think, no. If this gets a sequel, it's ruined. I don't want that. I think A Quiet Place is getting a sequel, and I'm just rolling my eyes at that. I don't think it needs one. Us doesn't need a sequel. I hope Jordan Peele just goes on and makes another horror movie, like Get Out, Us, something else. And
if he doesn't want to do it, just, you know what, let some first time nobody do it, and
then it goes shit.
Just let them screw it up, and then some people will go see it and it'll be forgotten. I mean, what would you even call a sequel to Us? Us 2? Us TOO or something.
Yeah, this I think the mystery adds so much to it. Like, oh, there's these weird people that live underground that are cloned with no souls, and they share like the whole shadow thing. I loved when she went, "We're Americans."
Yep. Oh, and just that ominous ending too. It's
the
just
music.
it added to it. Well, and just that pull-out shot of the mountains where it's just like, it's basically like, how to put it, this world is done as we know, at least America in this world as we know it is finished.
I definitely think it's a localized thing with America. It's sort of like, it's like a double of the population. So it's like the current population duplicated. It's a huge civil war now, really, if you think about it. There's no way that America's going to come out on top. I don't want to see that.
And there's a lot of people I've seen online saying stupid shit. They're just like, like, oh, but we need to know how and why this all happened. No, you don't need to know how or why. I mean, you didn't see the whole world going, we need to know how or why they eventually did answer it, but in the original Planet of the Apes, you didn't see people clamoring going, how and why did these apes become smart? They just did. Okay, that's just accept that that's what happened. You don't need an answer, because 90% of the time when you're questioning something in a film, the answer you come up with in your head is better than what you're given in a movie that actually answers it, and most of the time you don't like it anyways.
This is something I think that stemmed from popular movies like the Marvel Universe and the Star Wars universe, where they have the need to go back and make prequels and comics, and every single little bit of the story has to be covered.
Exactly. Not everything needs to be answered. Sometimes things just happen. Just accept it. That's the point of a fictional story. It's not real. There doesn't have to be a logical reason for why things happen.
Plus, it's a horror. If you cut the suspense and mystery out of a horror, huge elements of the horror go away. And I think
Michael Myers. Take Michael Myers, for example. The first original Halloween.
Terrifying.
We don't know why he is stalking these girls. He just is. By the time you get to Halloween 6, it's revealed, oh my God, he's been under a curse this whole time and he's working for a cult. It's like, well, okay.
I think having that many fucking sequels just ruins it anyway. Like, look at Saw and the timeline it has. If you'd ended after Saw 1, I would have been like, yeah, that's a solid horror movie. I quite enjoyed that. But then you drag it on and it just becomes gore porn, and it's like, yeah. But I think with Peele, I think he knew how to keep the suspense, because even though she had an exposition-filled monologue that villains tend to have where she explained her reasoning, I think at that point she didn't reveal too much. She was really vague. She didn't go into explicit detail. It was just sort of like, how do you not remember that we swapped places?
Exactly. And it was just like that. It's obvious, like, she'd blocked it out. And the whole, like that, like, when she was younger, like, I saw a girl and I'm scared she's coming for me. That has completely new context now, because she's scared of she's scared of the real one that she locked down below.
Yeah, and then the whole thing is, you think her voice is missing because she doesn't know how to speak, and she's
like nobody else does.
Yeah, and she's one of the few that's figured out this reason, and that's why she's their leader. But then you realize, oh, she got choked as a kid. Shit.
Yep.
And
basically,
I think
like larynx or whatever it is in your throat was crushed, and she's barely been able to somehow fix it, because like that, nobody else can talk. They can grunt and scream, but that's it.
Can I just say the White Family with them fucking that is Peele's comedy done well.
That was perfect. Of just like this stupid rich, I can't use the word dysfunctional because they weren't dysfunctional, but just this rich family of people who just nobody gives a fuck about each other. It's just the dad is rich. He's got his semi-hot
I was happy to see them die. I'm so glad that the black guy didn't. I forget his name. He's played by Winston Duke. I'm so glad he didn't, because I had so many moments I was like, no, don't kill the dad. And I think in any other horror movie, killing him would have like made me so sad, but I didn't want him to. I was so happy to see him get through it alive, because he deserved to.
Oh yeah. Now, which song has officially been ruined for you for life? That Beach Boys song or Fuck the Police?
Oh, Fuck the Police was already ruined. But I mean, just on the topic of songs, though, the musical score in this movie was nothing short of outstanding.
my God. And see, have you watched the trailer since you've gotten out of it?
Oh, no.
Okay. That music that was playing during the like ballet slasher fight at the end of the movie.
Was this a slasher movie, by the way? It felt like one.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That music, like just the single tones, up, down, changing all over, that was in the trailer. So for me, having seen the trailer and like that music just creeped me out watching the trailer.
Yeah.
So seeing it in the movie again, I was just like, oh, I don't like that music. It freaks me out. So that's what made it cool, was seeing it again, was hearing it up on the big screen too.
Did the movie scare you? Because I haven't been scared by a horror movie in a long time. This one got me.
It didn't. I can't lie. No, it didn't really scare me. The only real things that actually do scare me are a lot more like paranormal stuff. But
the opposite.
Okay, but I'm like, when I look at stuff like this, I'm able to, like, that's why I always love people like, it's not scary. And I just want to say half the time, like, okay, neither is the original Frankenstein, but that is still considered a horror film. It is, whether you want it to be or not. So the easiest way sometimes to get more into a film is sometimes, whether you find it scary or not, take yourself and put yourself in the character's shoes. If they're scared in the movie, I don't care what half these people say. You would be too if you were there.
I was scared for
Yeah, if you walked around a corner and saw yourself standing there with a knife and they came at you, you'd be horrified, because you'd be confused. You wouldn't know what's happening. You'd be scared of someone coming at you with a knife. You'd have no idea what's going on. So
I was scared for the dad and the kids, and I felt the mother's pain. And a lot of it, I think, having it in such a dark setting as well, it just creeped me out. And I don't get scared of paranormal because I don't believe in it. So to me, it's like, oh, I don't see this ever happening. Whereas if it's like I don't see this happening, obviously, but you know, people using real weapons and being able to be killed, like that's what creeped me out. Like Scream, people say it's not scary. To me, it is, because a serial killer could come out and just stab you. It's more realistic than some fucking guy in a hockey mask that crawls out of a lake after his mother's died.
Hey, man. Those movies are terrifying.
But Scream always got me, because I can sort of believe that someone would do that. And so with this, when they're using scissors and actual weapons, it creeped me the fuck out. Like, I just think, oh, if you turned your light on, like, well, no, sorry, if your lights went out and you checked outside and you saw people standing in your driveway, you would be terrified.
Yeah, that would genuinely, like, that was one thing I was thinking when I saw it. I was like,
I've had nightmares about that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's stuff like that also that freaks me out. Like if I heard a noise outside and, you know, say I get up to go to the bathroom and I look outside and I just see, like, I'm on the second, I live in an apartment building and I'm on the second floor. If I just was taking a piss and I looked out my window out into the backyard of my apartment and someone was just standing there staring up at my bathroom where I'm going to the bathroom, I'd be terrified, even though I know it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to get in.
Yeah.
That would freak me out, because I'd be like, who is this person? Why are they there? How did they know I was going to be here? Why are they looking at me? So yeah, that was freaky when they looked outside and the kid is just like, there's a family standing in our driveway. The dad's like, no, there ain't. Look outside. He
was the perfect catalyst, for meta humor. I thought. I felt like, you know, when Sydney in Scream goes out and picks her nose, it felt like that, where he just walked out and went, "What the fuck are you doing? Get off my driveway! You want to get fucking beat?" I felt like, oh, it's challenging all these horror stereotypes, and I think Peele has really done a good job of that. That's something I love seeing. Where, like, you'd always expect the dad in those situations to die, but he holds his own, or you'd always expect the girl to scream and run. But in this, they all picked up weapons and went after the killers. It was such like a juxtaposition to what you normally expect from a horror movie, and I love that, because I'm so sick of the stereotypes in horror.
I think the only thing that they did that was, I don't want to say stereotypical, but I want to say was needed, was the dad obviously being the biggest, the strongest, the most physically imposing of the family,
being limited.
Yeah, getting his knee bashed in. So it was like sense. He was limping. I was like, it was like that was needed, because if that hadn't happened, the rest of the story would have played out massively different than it needed to. So it's like that had to happen, but it was like, I mean, I can't say it's a cliche, but it's almost like it had to happen, but you see it happen so much where the biggest, the strongest gets hurt or killed. And it's like, well, if they hadn't been there, they would have been able to help so much more down the path. Like that's not even a nitpick or anything to complain about. That's just
no. I think I understand why they did it, because if M'Baku was running around, and I can't believe it's the same guy. Like holy shit, this guy has range.
It's M'Baku and Black Panther's girlfriend married.
Yeah, it's so weird. But honestly, I think having a big guy like him, you needed him to be limited in some way, and I think the way they did it was so good, because it was quite a funny moment where the baseball bat's just roiled out of his hand and he's like, oh shit. And then when they get the key out of and he's like, what white shit is this? Is that what he said?
I think so.
I know there's going to be people that are pissed off because there's so many underlying tones about privilege and about white stereotypes being sort of made fun of, and how the first guy in the movie that died was a white guy, not a black guy. There's so many underlying political themes, but I mean, I love them because to deny levels of privilege in Western culture is a bit ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I think they played a mockery on that, where they were like, oh, we've lived underground in this really terrible lifestyle, and you've had all this privilege and you've wasted it and you don't appreciate it. I think Peele definitely did that intentionally. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it because he is a political guy. There's a reason. I do appreciate it. I think he does it in such an organic way where the movie comes first and then he has all these political messages intertwined. And
I feel like he got that down better in this movie than he did Get Out, because Get Out was completely, it was in your face. It
was very, very blatant. This one, it was very much like, it was
the way it should have
pick up on it.
It was much smarter and it felt more integrated. This one felt more like the story came first and the underlying tones came afterwards.
Yeah.
As opposed to Get Out, where it was like right in your face of
exactly.
This movie is a metaphor for this.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if you don't pay attention to, if you're not privy to these political tones, you wouldn't really pick up on them. It would just go over your head. Whereas if you start to look at it more carefully, where there was points in the movie where she started talking about how she'd wasted her life on the above ground. I think to some she'll just be saying that's just a means for revenge. But to me, that was Peele basically sort of going into the privilege argument and basically saying people who have privilege are misusing it and they're not appreciative of the pedestal that they stand on. And I think, I love the way that it was less blatant than Get Out, and I really think it's just showing his growth as a director. It's like if you compare Reservoir Dogs to modern Tarantino movies, as much as I love Reservoir Dogs, I think he has improved a lot in his directing style, and I think we're seeing that now with Peele.
Definitely. I think, and I mean, I think first season of Twilight Zone's just getting ready to come out that he's heading up.
Yeah. Is he doing a Twilight Zone?
Yeah, he's doing the new show.
I don't want him to touch the MCU. I've seen people say, oh, he should do X-Men. No, keep him away from the MCU. I don't want him being limited in any shape or form.
No, because he's better he's better making his own stuff than being told your story has to start here, it has to end here. Go ahead, do whatever you want in the middle, but you have to integrate this, you have to integrate that. I mean, writing like that does take a talent, saying here's what you have to do, but fill in the gaps, and writing around it so it makes sense is still a story. That takes a lot of talent, but
I just don't want to see that happen to him, because he works better, I think, in these big movies where he's in control. I think the best place for him to go out of the two would be DC, because I think he could just go and say, I want to make a movie about this character, but I don't want it to be a part of your weird universe thing. And they'd probably just go, yeah, whatever. It's worlds of DC now. You can have it in your own little Jordan Peele world. Whatever. And definitely. I think DC would be the best place if he were to do superheroes to go, but I don't want him to do them. I want him to keep on going in the horror movie genre, because horror has been pretty stale. There's not that many good horrors.
It seems like it spikes every now and again. It seems like we'll have a year or two where we'll get something really good. Like I think it was Yeah, it was. Well, it's like there's examples. Yeah, it was really good. I think the first Conjuring is awesome. Quiet Place. I
haven't seen the new Halloween, but I've heard that's good.
It was good. It was on my top list of last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know a lot of people who read into it, who watched it, I think, who watched it too hard and took some negative stuff away from it. And I'm like, you're reaching really hard for something that doesn't exist. You're making up fabricated problems that aren't there. If you gave me an actual problem, I'd believe it. But you're going, oh, like that one scene, like there's one scene in the new Halloween where you see the masks from Halloween 3, and they're like, they stuck that scene in the movie just to make fun of it. I'm like, no, that's called an Easter egg. It was put there because the third movie was about Halloween masks, and it's Halloween night, so kids are wearing masks, and it's a nice little in joke. It wasn't some big.
I totally get it. But I mean, horror, I feel it had its golden era in the 80s. I think Scream revitalized it somewhat in the 90s, but the 90s was pretty dead still. We didn't have many good horror movies compared to like 70s and 80s. I think now we're living in the golden era of superhero movies, and I think eventually, I don't know, maybe 10 years from now, they'll lose traction again. And then I think we'll see another genre rise up. Maybe it'll be horror again. Maybe it'll be something else. I don't think people will want comedy after the superhero genre's milked it to death. But,
Frankly,
you know, I think...
I want smart horror to come back on the rise like this. I want movies like this to come back where it gets people it gets people talking. I'm not saying the superhero movies don't get people talking, but it's almost like shit. I mean, how long how long can you really sit and talk about the end of Infinity War? It's like
it was like, he snapped his fingers and that was it. There's no underlying messages. There's no subtlety. There's nothing of complexity in the movies. Yes, I'm emotionally connected to the characters. I was 8 when Iron Man came out. I love these guys, and I really enjoy the MCU. But once the original 6 are out of the picture, the movies aren't well built enough, I think, for me to care anymore. And I don't know if other people will feel the same, but I get where you're coming from. I want these smart movies to come back, and horror is my favorite genre. So if Peele can headline the future of horror and bring it all back, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
and
I'm bored.
And it's like I know I'm in the minority probably on this one, but I want standalone movies like this to come back. I don't. Not everything has to be set up a middle, then an end. Not everything has to be a trilogy or a quadrilogy or a sextology or whatever the hell. Millions of movies. It just
I want the Tarantino method to come in. Where he just does a movie in his style, and there's so many of them, and you pick up different characters, and there's different settings, different locations, different worlds, but you have the same sort of style of the director that bleeds into the movie, and it's so charming and infectious. I want that. Peele has that to a T. He's come in and
yeah, and you mentioned Spielberg earlier. Spielberg is the same type. Spielberg makes a movie that begins and it ends. If somebody else wants to do something with it later, aside from The Lost World, he's just like, I guess, but I made my movie. I'm done. I moved on. The story is over.
Yeah, that's what I love, because I think if you do that, you get more range and I think better movies out of it, because sequels are very limiting in what you can do. And so I've just got my Alfred Hitchcock collection here on Blu-ray, and if I go through these, there isn't one sequel. I'm pretty sure there isn't a single one. You've got Shadow of a Doubt, you've got Rope, you've got what's this one? No, I don't know. The Trouble with Harry. You've got The Man Who Knew Too Much. You've got The Crows. You've got The Vertigo. You've got Psycho. The Birds. Sorry, not The Crows. You've got Marnie. You've got all these great movies, not one sequel, because it's limiting. And I think
it's a story was told. Boom. Get something else. But we also live in a generation where it's just like,
I want to know everything.
Well, I want to know
information age.
Well, yeah, it's I want to know everything. I need everything explained to me. Yeah. But it's also like just people fear. We're living in an age where people fear the unknown, and that's I hate to sound so insultive, and I guarantee I'm gonna piss some people off with what I'm about to say, but it's like that's why these MCU movies make as much money as they do, because people are just like, I know what I'm going to get, and that's why I'm going to go.
On the topic of that, Thor Ragnarok. This got 87% audience score, and now I know that there's more user ratings. Like Ragnarok got 92,000. I'm going to bring up Venom here, which got an 81% audience score. That got 37,000 ratings. Jordan Peele's new movie, Us, has only got 4,312 user ratings, but this is percentage based, so I think it's fair to compare them. So Venom, 81% audience score. Ragnarok got 87% audience score. Us got 71%. That means a staggering 29% of the audience that has so far went onto Rotten Tomatoes and put their score up has disliked the movie. I think there's something common here. Venom was dumb as shit and was mostly entertaining in how bad it was. And Ragnarok was extremely blatant with no subtlety and an incredible amount of comedy. Us was complex, required a certain level of thought, and it was a bit more provocative, I thought, in its movie telling style. Whereas the other two are very safe. And Us is the one the audiences didn't like as much. And I think there is something to be said there. It's why Us won't make as much money as MCU movies. It's why audiences will flock and love the other ones. And I think that it's just such a shame to see that we live in that sort of society and culture. And I do get loving the MCU movies. I get loving those things because they have this thing now with the cinematic universe, this brand new concept that's built these characters up in a way that's never been done before in movies. So I get having a connection to them, but to the point where you completely neglect other movies, I think that's where it goes too far.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, we can probably dive into that more on another episode because
we are doing.
I come basically, but it's like I completely agree on that one. It's just like like I've seen some people online say things like what's your favorite movies? Oh, anything MCU. It's like, okay, what else? Okay, what else do you like to go see when you go to the movie theaters? I guess I'll go see a DC movie. Okay, aside from superhero movies, what do you like to go to the movies to see? I don't know. The live action Disney remakes. Okay, never mind. Franchises and remakes. That's all you'll go see.
Well, I think my top 4 movies, right, have one superhero movie in, and it's not one that most people would expect. So, like, number 1, Scream. Number 2, Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. So underrated. Number 3, Kick-Ass. And then number 4, Shaun of the Dead. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I think that having such a unique list shows that you're a film fan. I think if all your movies are MCU movies, fuck it. Maybe you're an MCU fan and that's what you like. You do you. But
you can be, absolutely. It's like my comparison
don't
for
claim
that.
to be a film fan.
No, my comparison for that is the equivalent of somebody going like, oh, I'm really into cars. It's like, okay, like list me your top 5 favorites. Oh, just like any of the Camaros. All right, what else? Just any Camaro. Okay, so you're a Camaro fan. You're not a car fan. Like, that's how I look at some MCU fans, is they say things like that, where they're just like, oh, I'm a huge movie buff. All right, what's your top 5 favorite movies?
Infinity War, Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Dark.
Exactly. They'll throw Dark Knight in there, and they maybe Logan. But it's like, it's always, boom, it's always MCU stuff. I'm like, okay, you're a superhero fan. You're not a film fan.
Because there's... Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but like I think to an extent, don't claim you're a film fan. And this isn't like our gatekeeping thing. It's where like if you are an MCU fan, that's totally fine. But if your top 5 movies are MCU movies, like sure, I get having 1 or 2 maybe in that. Like
But that says branch out, try something new. That's why movies. Yeah, think about it. Like, just say, what was it? I think a couple years ago, there was some kind of lawsuit going on between the original owners of a lot of the Marvel characters and Disney. Do you remember that or no?
I don't.
Okay, I don't know the exact details, so if I'm saying something wrong, forgive me. It was real hush hush though, because Disney obviously didn't want this to get out. They didn't want people hearing that there was a chance some technicality might take all the MCU away from them. And it just makes me wonder. I remember I was thinking about it. I was like, if this lawsuit proves it and Disney loses them, the MCU is done because they will not be able to use these characters anymore. The MCU will be over. All contracts will be gone. Any movies they're working on will be halted in production. They're done. And I was just thinking, I was like, what movies would these people go see then? Like,
it's a tough one.
Half these people, what would they go see? They don't. They all vocally say half of them vocally say they hate DC for no reason. They don't really have real reasons. They say they don't like the X-Men movies because they change things from the comics, which the MCU does to an astronomical limit. So it's exactly. Oh God. But it's just like, what would you people go see then? What would you go to the movie theater to watch? Just Sony?
The void would be filled, right? The void would be filled because before superheroes, it was dumb slasher flicks. Like, my favorite movies are slashers. I love the slasher genre, but before superhero movies, it was the endless Friday the 13th sequels, the endless Halloween sequels, the copies, the duplicates. Then we got like horror porn, gore porn and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think the void would be filled by some equally dumb popcorn flick that wouldn't be that well made. I think it would. Like I do like the MCU, but who like on a surface level, there's not much going on there.
They're literally the equivalent of modern day 90s disaster movies like Independence Day,
Yeah.
2012, stuff like that, where it was like, I'm sorry, people can get, oh, I mean, yeah, they are better written, but I mean, that goes without saying, but these are also characters based on previously established material, though. So
that's why they're so good. I mean, they're giving directors that probably like they're not that consistent, they're not that good. These big characters, and they're still working out. And I think without the guidance of Marvel Studios behind them, it wouldn't work out. And I don't know, maybe Jordan Peele will usher in the era of horror again. I really, really hope so, because it needs to come back. I'm sick of superhero movies every year. I want like another 6 horror movies a year.
Oh,
I miss it when we got that, because now it's like you get 1 or 2 good ones a year, and they're usually all the way in October, and you're sort of left, waiting until Halloween for a good horror movie to come out, and then half the time it's not that good anyway.
I mean we've had some decent ones. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, this obviously isn't the golden age of horror films like it used to be, but I mean, every now and again, I mean, even some bad ones, I think, like what is one I just saw last year? Okay, I know this one. This is almost universally reviled. Yeah. I know I am one of the few people I know who's seen it, who has said, okay, it did exactly what it wanted to be, and it was fun. Was Truth or Dare. It was okay. It was not that great of a movie. It really wasn't. But you know what? It did exactly what it said it was going to do. It was almost like another version of the Final Destination movies.
Oh,
That's
I love
literally what it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
And Strangers 2, nowhere near as good as the original Strangers. But you know what? Yeah. It wasn't garbage. It still had a few tense moments here or there. Yeah. Or what else? The Conjuring universe. Out of the 5 of them, I'd say 3 of them are still really good. Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, and Annabelle Creation. I enjoyed The Nun personally. It wasn't scary. Yes, it overused the jump scares, but I still had fun with it.
Us had 3 I counted, I think.
Huh?
Us had 3 I counted.
What's that?
Us. I swear I only had 3 jump scares.
Oh, jump scares. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did that well. One of them got me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with us, the kid that wore a mask.
Yeah, the doppelganger of the sun.
Fill me in on this. Was the implication that when he was using his toy and it wasn't working, he was burning the other kid?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Because I've been trying to figure that out. Because when he walks back and he kills him in the fire, I thought that was like an extension of that, and I was sort of thinking, is that where that was supposed to be? Because I was trying to work out why his face was scarred, and I think that was.
I think I don't know. Because it was like his doppelganger's face was melted shut, basically.
Yeah.
He might have been. I mean, maybe it was an accident that happened to him as a child, and his mom was able to put the fire out before anything really bad happened. Maybe that's, his fascination with the lighter and it not working. Yeah. And maybe the doppelganger did his whole face did burst into flames.
That's what I thought the implication was, because eventually he kills him by his doppelganger does the same thing as him. He walks back and he walks him back into the fire. So and that was like a poetic death.
Yeah, and his doppelganger was the only one who was mimicking him.
Yeah.
Nobody else's doppelgangers mimicked them at all.
Yeah, and I think this is the huge thing with us. There's so much intricacy and mystery, but you can pull it apart and discuss it quite a lot, even though they don't explicitly tell you tons of shit. It's one of those movies where I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it and like look at all these nuances and subtleties and try and piece it all together even further. And I'm really excited to do that.
Definitely. I'm just, anytime I'm able to go to a movie nowadays that is, an original idea and not, a sequel based on a book, based on a comic, part of a franchise. Anytime I'm able to go see an original idea like this and I walk out enjoying it, it makes me so much happier than when I went into, The Dark Knight and loved it, because it's like I knew I was going to love it. But it's like walking out of something like this and going, this was great. I really enjoyed this. I enjoy it all the more because I didn't know what I was. Yeah, because I didn't know what I was getting into.
So for me, it was I went in 100% excited because it's a Jordan Peele movie, and holy shit, he's proved himself already. And I knew I was like, yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy it. Of course I am. Like everyone else has. It's a Jordan Peele movie. It's a horror, and I love horror. I didn't know anything about the plot. I had extremely high expectations, and those expectations would fucking blown out of the water. I could have went in with low expectations and it would have been even fucking more blown out. But it's just I think going in with such high expectations and having those expectations not only met and blown away just proves how solid of a director he is. And I'm still surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I thought I'd come out going, oh, that was pretty good and that would be it. But there's so much more to it that I want to look into.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I think there hasn't been a movie like that in a while, and this is his second movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, where he's one of the few directors where I can boot up Letterboxd and click on his name, and it'll say 100% of his movies have been watched. And I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to see everything he does, because I'm really excited to see how his career pans out. And it's a shame, because Key hasn't gone that far.
Mm-hmm. My only fear, I think, with him is I just don't want to see him fall like Shyamalan did, because remember when Shyamalan first started, he was on top of the world too, and then
don't ruin it.
Oh, I don't want it to. That's what I'm saying. It's just
he might fall off this pedestal and become a typecast director. He might be the guy that does.
I mean, Shyamalan. I mean, I think Shyamalan gets hate unnecessarily, almost the same as Zack Snyder does, because people also seem to forget the good stuff that they did, where 100%. It's like they focus on the bad and they go, oh, they suck because they made this. It's like, yeah, but what about this, which was good? Oh, one good movie. Okay, what about this? Okay, two good movies. It's like
the count slowly goes up. But the thing with Jordan Peele is, though, I think his movies so far have been better than anything, in my opinion, that Shyamalan has ever done. I think he's riding a high that is on the level of classic directors like Hitchcock. I think he's on that caliber, whereas I don't think Shyamalan ever reached that level yet. So I think there is a bit more of a higher standard with Peele, and that could make his fall from grace even heavier, though, if it does happen. But the huge thing that I appreciate about him, which I must bring up, and I don't know if we'll agree on this, is his representation focus, where he's casting all of these black actors that usually don't get much of a spotlight, because media is dominated by white people. So seeing Peele give the spotlight to these actors that are otherwise not as well used, much like Coogler did with Black Panther and Creed, it's really nice to see. And I mean, it's coming from a white guy.
I like it because personally it gives me a chance to see more talent that I never really thought was there. Like the dad, who played M'Baku in Black Panther. It's like,
that was his first movie, wasn't it?
I think so. But it's like in Black Panther, I mean, he was cool in Black Panther. That was
his first movie.
The guy had more like the guy was had more charisma to him than Black Panther himself actually did. So I actually enjoyed him. But then it was like, from there I was just like, okay, he's just a big, okay. I apologize to anyone who's about to take what I say in the wrong direction. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it in a general sense.
You're about to say something incredibly racist.
Oh, incredibly, I guess. But it's like when I'm watching him in Black Panther and it finished, I was like, okay, the guy who played M'Baku, he was just, a big, tall, cool black dude. But then it's like, I see him in this and it's like,
he was just a dad.
That's what I mean. It's like, I don't want to say I didn't see him in another light, but I was like, okay, he's got much more to him as an actor than I thought he would have had by playing M'Baku in Black Panther. So it was like, like you said, it's like, I think Peele recognizes talent, and I think he's one of those actors who isn't just going to go pick up, okay, who's my next big meathead Channing Tatum who can't act so I can dump them in my film. No.
Yeah, that's the thing. He picks out the little actors.
Yeah, he wants talent, and he's going to put talent in his film. And that's another thing I like about Peele, is you can tell, because, I mean, I was not the world's biggest fan of Get Out, like I've said before. But you know what? I can't deny that everyone in that movie, for the most part, did an excellent job with their act.
Excellent. I think in Us, he did such a good thing with the doppelganger by having them play themselves. I think just you could tell how much range they had, even the kids, and it was phenomenal because they were side by side. You could see them playing a villain and a hero in the same scene, and I think that just shows how good of an actor they are. And I think being able to put a movie together like that, because that's got to be difficult, where the actors.
A perfect example, the daughter and her doppelganger.
Oh,
the regular daughter.
She
terrified. The regular daughter.
Yeah, she was
terrified the whole movie. She's crying half the time. She's like hyperventilating. She goes on the attack at one point. But her doppelganger is just walking around with this incredibly evil smile on her face.
Yeah.
Where it's like, whether she's your doppelganger or not, you are freaked out by just the look on this girl's face of just like, it's just a pure evil smile of like, this is not somebody you want to fuck with.
I also love how he didn't interject a bunch of stereotypes, which I think is a huge thing by getting a black director to use black characters. I think if you had a white director, it's more than likely you would end up with some stereotypes. But I think Jordan Peele has avoided those, and it's so refreshing to see a movie about black people that doesn't stereotype them in such a horrible way. But it also doesn't make them it doesn't, what's the word for it? I've heard it used before in cultural studies a few times. Where you sort of make them like white people. I think it's westernized.
It didn't whitewash them.
Yeah, it didn't do that. It didn't stereotype them. It just showed them as people.
Exactly.
I think that's such a good thing to do, and I hope more movies go down this route, like with the MCU having Shang-Chi directed by an Asian director and having an Asian writer to, combat these stereotypes in media. And I think Peele's doing a standout job at that. And I hope he does get an Oscar for this. Like, I hope it gets the recognition. Soundtrack, I think you could nominate it for. To be quite honest,
deserves it. This movie deserves awards. It needs them, and it's like if this is almost one of those films where like I'm not normally one of those people who pays too much attention to award shows because I think they're usually just
I don't watch them.
But this is one of those films where it like if this doesn't even get nominated, I'll be like all those awards are bullshit. They are because this genuinely somebody in this film deserves an acting award. I mean, and I definitely, like I said, Lupita Nyong'o definitely, in my opinion,
let's hope
she deserves it. She sold this movie for me. She was between crying, screaming, the terrifying.
Even the child actor that played her younger version fucking knocked it out of the park.
Exactly.
And how many child actors do you know that can play villain and hero?
None. It's so rare.
The golden age of child actors right now is Stranger Things, It, and now us. Like, holy shit, what's happened to them? Is education?
I know. And is it how funny is that? It's almost like horror movies are the only movies you get to see good child actors in.
I know, it's so weird. I mean,
it's one of my personal favorites was the little girl from Annabelle Creation.
Yeah. Or The Exorcist.
Yeah, definitely. That was 70s, but
but
still, definitely, she was.
You were in your teen years.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I think it was, Lulu Wilson. That's who I was thinking. Lulu Wilson. She was in oh my god, why did it just fall out of my head? Yeah, she was in Annabelle Creation, but the other movie that she was in that just this girl just sold me on it was Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I've seen bits of it, not the whole thing.
There's this bit of monologue that she gives about being strangled.
Yeah.
And it creeps you out because she's like 6 or 7 in this movie. And that scene is like one of the scariest scenes in the movie. And it's coming from a little kid describing what it feels like to be strangled to death.
Oh, can we also say that they pulled basically M'Baku and the guy that helped Killmonger are both from Get Out and Us now. It's like Black Panther is just pulling all the characters from Jordan Peele's movie. They'll pull a few from this one, maybe. We'll see. But it's great. I mean, I think I'm really excited to see what Jordan Peele's third movie is going to be like.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Is it going to be a case of of how trilogies normally go, though, where the third movie's the shit one?
I don't think he will. I genuinely don't.
Your Scream 3, your Civil War, controversial.
You don't get a disagreement from me on that one. Oh, don't forget your favorite third of all time, Ragnarok.
Oh, Ragnarok, Spider-Man 3. The Amazing Spider-Man 3. No.
Wherever it exists.
I'd count Venom in that pool, just as shit as the second one. But I don't think because I don't see him like ruining this. He's definitely got the solids of a direct. He's a solid director, and I don't think it's a lucky streak so far. I think it's like he's visibly improving.
Talent.
And
It's
I
talent
think,
is what it is.
yeah, the jump from Get Out to Us is he's learned from Get Out, and he's gonna learn from Us. And I think in the third movie, the quality might get better again, and that's exciting because I gave Us a 5-star rating. I don't know what I can give anything better. Maybe I'll drop this one down when his third movie comes out. We'll see. But I mean, honestly, Us was such an exciting movie to watch, and I love that they all had the red costumes. That was creepy. And they all stood holding hands. I mean, the big thing for me was early in the movie when I was watching, and you had the rabbits in the cages in the classroom, and you had the guy stood there with his arms out in the T-pose. You had the interlocking hands on the TV, and I just sort of went, oh, he's being creepy and edgy, and I was like, what's the point in all this? And then later on in the movie, he brings it all back. He doesn't leave anything that he introduces just there. It all comes back. Everything is of importance, and I think he's just shown that he can direct. He can design a movie from head to toe, and it can be completely fluid and organic, and it doesn't sort of jarringly cut at any point. It's all one product that goes together. There's no things that just start and stop randomly in the movie that never get brought back into the fold. He's thought it out really well, and I mean, he deserves the credit. And this deserves a few Oscars. Black Panther got how many? Black Panther get?
It got a decent amount of awards. I mean, it didn't win Best Picture. Boo hoo.
If that shit show of an overrated movie can get Oscars, then Us fucking better.
Us had better get something, because Us was. I far more enjoyed Us than Black Panther.
Oh, 100%. It was solid from start to finish. First, second, and third act were enjoyable. Pacing was fantastic. It got off the ground faster than I expected. Horror movies are usually terrible at that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second the lights went out, I was like, this is it. It's starting. The lights don't just go out. But then you had the dad humor, and I think, Jordan Peele is a comedian. He did do comedy first, and there are elements of comedy that bleed into his horror movies, but like every good horror movie has a little bit of comedy in it, I think.
It has to, because in a horror movie, you have to elevate the tension a little bit every now and again. You have to give the audience... Yeah, you have to give the audience a chance to breathe sometimes. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, 5 minutes of scares and then, a scene of, like full-on Ragnarok humor or something. Yeah. But you need something. Like you said, the dad, while he was not comic relief, but he was there to relieve the tension.
No, there were moments where you were like, holy shit, he's in danger, and he's such a complex and well-written character, and his chemistry with the other actors elevated him, and it was sort of, you had an attachment to this character, which says a lot about the acting and the writing and the directing. So he's not a two-dimensional comic relief character, but at the same time, he has those comedic moments that elevate the tone, because he's a dad, and they've written that really well. They've written that dad humor, that dad stereotype, but they haven't stereotyped him in the same way. It's just sort of like, I know people like that. It's so believable and relatable and understandable. And I think him doing the dad, my brother does shit like that. Like my 15-year-old brother does stuff like that, and it's like I see people doing that are adults to kids, and they're like, no, look how hip I am. There's stuff funny. Like that.
If there was a stereotype to it, it's the fact that it's the exact word you used. He was the dad, but you know what? That's what this movie is about. It's about a family surviving a horrible ordeal, and he played the dad as best as he could. And like you said, it was dad humor, but that's not a stereotype. That's who he was, and he played it to a T, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. And like I said to you earlier, I mean, the feeling that I like, the deja vu I got from this movie, it felt like the first time I saw The Shining. That is the emotional response I got, and that is heavily subjective, and it's a personal experience. It's not an objective point where I'm saying it's on par with The Shining or whatever. I need to watch it again to decide that. But that's the feeling I got from the movie. It was like when I first saw The Shining, it was a family story. It was isolated and sort of claustrophobic in a sense, and it had those horror elements and that sort of weird supernatural sort of side to it that you didn't quite fully grasp because it's not explained to the most specific of points. It's so vague, and the sort of the vibe I got from it and the feeling that it gave me, it was like deja vu from seeing The Shining for the first time, and I loved that. I absolutely loved that. I think that's such a great thing to get feelings of like watching a classic horror movie. It's like when the text came up introducing the cast and everything, the credits they did, that gave me huge old horror vibes.
That is honestly another trope I wish would come back. Opening credits. Because you know what? It's almost like opening credits like that, they almost add like a bit of like an air of class to a film.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to go back to the 30s where it's like, they play an overture and they show you everything. Just give me a nice musical score. Show me some either foreshadowing or
that's what he did with the rabbits in the classroom and everything.
Exactly. Or that's great. My favorite go-to example, and this is a movie almost, you and I both agree this is underrated. A lot of people don't really like it. What's that?
Where are we going with this?
The opening credits to The Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah.
They basically told what could have been a first movie in the opening credits.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk was so good, and I do agree the opening credits were fantastic, and they do add an element of class to a movie, and they felt like classic horror, and I think if you can elicit the feeling of classic horror back in the golden age, you're gonna win horror fans over immediately. And he did. I mean, I saw the rabbits and everything, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Where's this going? And then it zoomed out, and then all of a sudden it cut away, and I was like, well, what were the rabbits? And then you come back to it later, and that's why I think Us was a rewarding watch. It was, if you paid attention, like there's a guy sat next to me on his phone the entire movie, and I was like, oh, that's hard eating. But if it's such a rewarding movie, if you pay attention and you actually watch it and you engage with it, and there's not many movies I'd say are rewarding anymore. Not in the sense where you can piece it together at the end and feel like you've done something, like you've achieved something by sticking through it. I don't think many movies do get that anymore, so having that again was nice. It was refreshing.
Definitely. So let's see, let's wrap this up. So I think genuinely we both agree this was awesome. It's
a modern classic, like
definitely.
Immediately. It's a bit of a longer episode, but hey, it deserves it, I think.
Exactly. There's a lot to say. And you know what? That's what says it all about this film, is how much there was to say about it. We did have some repetition to what we said, but you know what? It's because of how much just we both enjoyed it. And it's I
loved it.
So I plan on seeing it again. And
I will.
I'd have to say, I always hate when I hear people say this because I'm about to say it. I'd have to say this is probably my favorite movie so far this year that I've seen in 2019.
Is there any competition?
No, there's not.
There's none. I think it'll mean more saying that at the end of the year, because right now the movies haven't been great this year so far. So
exactly.
I think it's nice that 2019's finally getting into it. I think Endgame will probably be a standout because that's like an event. But then there's not much else this year, like Hellboy, Shazam.
Oh no, my friend, you are.
What are you Are you Godzilla? Yeah.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Are you kidding me? I am more excited. I am more excited for that than I am for Endgame.
Fair. I've never seen one, so I can't say much.
Oh, you do.
I mean, there's not much notable this year, I'd say, compared to the previous few. I think we've gotten through the best now after Us. But where can we go from here?
I don't think we're gonna get a Spider-Verse this year, unfortunately.
It's a shame. I don't think we're gonna top this movie, and I think that's just a testament to how Peele has dominated the horror market right now. Let's hope he continues to, because I think he's had to so far. So maybe it's luck. I don't think it is, but you could argue that we can't say for certain yet. But I think we'll see in a few years. We'll have another 3 or 4 movies, and we'll be able to go, yeah, look at his lineup. This is another Tarantino where I'll go and watch his movies no matter what they are. It's Tarantino. It's Jordan Peele.
I think he can.
I really do expect it. I have no reason to doubt the guy. I love him. I think he's brilliant. And audiences, oh no. It's got an average of 3.9 on Letterboxd and an audience score of 7.1, so 71%. So I think I'll end it by just saying I think audiences are underappreciating this movie. I hope it wins an Oscar, and I give it 5 stars.
Definitely.
And I don't give 5 stars out willy-nilly like some people do.
Nope.
Sly Dave.
Oh, well. They know who they are.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want more geek stuff. See, we don't just do Marvel and DC. We do other stuff. We're going to do other stuff. We've got a Dora episode coming out. we're men of class. We've got a Power Rangers one coming.
Exactly.
It's such a juxtaposition.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, we're like a modern horror classic, and then let's talk about Dora. Fuck. Yeah, subscribe if you want to see that coming. That should be out soon as well.
Exactly. All right, guys. Like James said, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon.
Yeah, sounds good.